Hello everyone and welcome to Discord with the boys. Today's boys are Lost and SmoughtTown. Hey man, how you doing?
Doing good, mate. Yeah, good to speak to you. How you doing? Everything all right?
Oh, I'm doing very solid. It's interesting. You and we've been in the same circles for quite some time, but we never really had like a solid
Interaction.
I was gonna say intimate interaction, but you know, maybe that's better, yeah.
You know, the thing is, before, like, I stayed early days, like, I just stayed out of the community in general. You know, it was just like a hobby. I'd upload a video, and I was quite young when I started doing them.
Yeah.
And I just didn't pay attention to all that kind of other stuff, you know, until kind of recently.
That is really fascinating to hear, because I was also kind of the same. I uploaded videos because I thought it would be fun. I didn't really think of it as anything else, and then eventually I started to get some views, and I still didn't really interact with the community, but I met Adam Barker, if you know who that is.
I know Adam. Relatively friendly with Adam, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was the one who invited me to all of the different, it was Twitter chats back then, you know.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. And that's where I really got to know a whole bunch of people. So I really have Adam to thank for all of this. So Adam, if you're watching this, thank you, sir.
Yeah, good. Adam's really sound. You know, earlier on I was kind of rubbish with like tech and stuff, and Adam would kindly do like pre-cam shots for my videos. I can do them myself now, but before I had a potato, I used to do my channel off a laptop. So he used to do like pre-cam shots for me. So yeah, he's a great guy, Adam.
Going from potato PC to an actual
nice PC.
Yeah, what a difference that made.
And I've watched some of my earlier videos recently, and it's just the quality level difference is kind of mad. I just kind of like, there's points where I just like hum and haw in my videos, and it's like I would never do that now. Everything I do is so highly scripted, it's crazy.
Well, I get you, man, but even so, because I also watched a few of your videos lately. See, I went to your channel and I was checking it out, and I sorted your main page from oldest to newest videos, and I saw that your earliest public video, I guess there are more, right?
There's more,
yeah.
Yeah.
But the earliest public video was from Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, good times, man. Yeah, it's, what a weird video that is, man. Like, looking back, you can kind of see like the chrysalis of my style, though. It's not changed hugely. I've been get better at it, I'd say. You know, it's more or less the same, right?
Why did you make your first video?
Because of Dark Souls, man. So the thing is like when Dark Souls first came out, I was still at uni. You know, I was about 20 probably. The internet at that time was really interesting, right? There was very few channels, and I watched two main channels. I watched Epic Name Bro.
Me too.
Lore. Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I watched this guy called New Gaming. I don't think he does much stuff anymore, but I used to love New Gaming because he was a PvP guy. So my first channel was actually a different channel called The Neato Look, which is no longer around. But it was mainly PvP, man. That's why I've got such like a love for you guys in the PvP scene, because, you know, I love it as well, despite being a lore guy now. And I just started it because I love Dark Souls. That is literally it. I really liked the game and I was passionate about it. And I was, you know, I just wanted to share that passion, you know?
So when did it really click for you? Your channel?
Right. So I think, despite the fact that I've only now become pretty successful, I'd say that really it clicked for me around Sekiro time. If you look at my Sekiro videos, whilst obviously they aren't as popular and stuff, you can really see the foundations of what I did in Elden Ring there. I really hit my stride in Sekiro and started doing higher quality videos and stuff. Whereas before, you know, I was a bit younger and I just kind of babbled into the mic about Dark Souls lore and stuff. But the Sekiro ones are where I started to kind of bring it up a level, I think.
I will give you that your newer stuff is certainly a cut above what you used to do. The older videos, and especially the first video that's on your channel currently, is still pretty damn good for being 8 years old, man.
It's so old, isn't it? It's crazy.
And I was not the only person to notice, because I was scrolling down looking at the comments, and I saw that you had replied to a comment just 4 days ago on that video.
And someone's like, why are you replying to it? Yeah, I don't know, man. I still like that video. I don't really unlist my videos. The only reason that's the oldest video is because I actually deleted my channel for a brief period and kind of lost all the footage, the videos that were on it. I actually had older videos than that for Demon Souls, but luckily I'd saved the one Demon Souls video that's up still on an external hard drive, so I re-uploaded it when I relaunched the channel. But I'm not really a big fan of deleting my videos. You can see I've got some, I'm just looking at my old videos here. I've got like solo guides for Lud and Zalin and stuff like that, you know, so, and Elder Scrolls Online, the Rift, Werewolf and Vampire spawn locations. So I don't really like deleting my old stuff because it's like a thing for me to, you know, see how I've developed.
Yeah,
over the
progress
years.
is a thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and you shouldn't be ashamed of your older work. You were younger, you know, you were less experienced. That was it, you know.
I'm a big fan of believing in you should be proud of your garbage, because when you're starting out, of course it's gonna be bad. You should never compare your beginning to somebody else's
Years of sophistication.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. And, you know, for me and for you, we should both be, you know, happy that back then, 8 years ago or whatever it was, 10 years ago, that we actually took the step to do it. And I'm not like a technically gifted person, but because I so loved Dark Souls, you know, I looked up how to video edit and record stuff and kind of, you know, put myself out there.
Well, that's an excellent point then here, because I'm very curious about you and your process. As you self said, you put out videos that are like humongous. You know, what's your longest video?
Oh, I think it's like 1 hour and 48 or something like that. Almost 2 hours. Like it must be my Marika video.
How do you even begin to make a monster like that? Walk me through the process here.
It's hard, man. It's straight up hard. There's no ways about it. I first of all researched the subject. So say I'm doing the Glowmouth Queen and the Godskins. I go through the item files in the game, find every reference to both of them, note it all down, do kind of like a mind map, connect it together. Watch some other people's videos for research, and this is, you know, where I reference a lot of people in my videos just to get their perspectives or things that I've missed. And then I write a script, and the scripts are usually, you know, for the big ones, it's over 20 pages long. Write it, edit it, and then I have to record it, and recording it is the most excruciating part of it. Recording a script of that size takes me about 5 or 6 hours sitting in the chair. I'm sure other people can do it faster, but for me it's very stressful. I misspeak all the time. My voice sounds slappy or dry, you know, things like that. You get frustrated, you get tired. It's exhausting. So, and you know me, I try and get videos out every 2 weeks, but it takes a lot, man. It's, you know, I'm essentially producing a 2 hour video in that time. And I also have to record, you know, extra footage and things like that. I do not now edit my videos, which has been a great help. I do have an editor.
Yeah, score.
Yeah, so I do all the footage for them though. I get all the footage and I pass it all over in a Google Drive, and I give them direction notes. So I tell them, you know, where I want a title, where I want a certain cut, where I want a NPC to do their speech, things like that. So it all takes a long time. It takes about 2 weeks for me to do a big video, in essence.
So that's kind of like baked in. I'm guessing that's baked into the script, and so you know, as
Right.
you're reading down the script, they will be using the script as well as a direction to. All right, title, character, insert clip here to show.
Yeah, but what I do is, to make it easier, is I actually do like a separate director's note as well, where I do timestamps of every single specific edit that I want. So like at 5:15 show this, 6:15 show that. So that also takes a bit of time.
That means that you have the audio already there then.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, and I listen to it again with a notepad out and say at 6:15 show D and his twin side by side, or, you know, whatever. While someone edits for me, and it takes a lot of pressure off, you know, even up to that point, it takes a lot of effort. And I only took an editor kind of beginning of last year, so, you know, kind of up to maybe my Mikla video, I was still editing them all by myself. I just couldn't do that anymore, man, with the length that the videos were getting, you know. Because you'll know just from editing your videos yourself, you know, 20 minutes, that takes, you know, 5 hours. But these are things that people don't, you know, understand.
Yeah, it is. And I also do some scripted stuff, and I have 3 pages or 1,500 words, and I also find myself just sitting there for like an hour, even though it should be basically
Right.
15.
You should be able to crack it out in 15, 20 minutes or something, right?
So I do that too, and I have theater experience as well on my backside, so to speak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why you've got such a wonderful voice.
Oh,
right?
You sweetie pie!
Yeah.
You are so.
You do.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in drama and theater, and I was supposed to do that. But then everybody that I knew kind of moved away from the city that I live in. And, it's hard to have a theater group when people don't live in the same city.
When it's a singular group. Singular person in the group. Yeah.
So I decided, hey, I'm gonna write a comic book. And I wrote 160 pages of that comic book. And then I discovered, you know what? Drawing is hard.
I was about to say, so you wrote a comic book and you were doing the panels and stuff yourself?
No, I just wrote the script.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. Okay. I was like,
that's wild, man.
I'll find somebody, I thought, but no.
You should commission an artist or something to finish it off for you.
I should, but right now I'm very busy with the whole YouTube thing, but eventually.
It's, so you do it full time now as well, don't you? Right.
Yeah, I also became full time with Elden Ring. How far into Elden Ring did you go before you were full time?
Pretty soon, I'll be honest. Without unnecessarily, bringing my life to your audience, I was going through a very difficult time around Elden Ring's release, work-wise and mental health-wise. And so when, I did 4 videos, and they're all about 1 million. They were, really high then, and I earned so little at the job I was doing at the time, man. And it was 1 month I realized, hey, even from doing this part-time, I'm earning twice, what I'm doing in my day job. And I hate my day job. So I immediately quit. So it was about May, to be honest, I went full-time. So, a few months after Elden Ring's release, where I realized that I was, doing well. And I didn't want to do my office job anymore. It was, killing me.
Office work is the worst, man.
It was making me a husk.
It's soul-crushing. I think that anybody doing manual labor has a better time than fucking office work.
Yeah, it just... I'm not saying it's not for everyone. People absolutely thrive in that environment, and I'm not putting it down at all. And I respect people that can do it, but I cannot do it.
I'm putting it down a little bit, because that it's not great.
You know it's not for everyone. It's not, man. And it was just crushing me. And yeah, so it came around at a perfect time. Elden Ring, basically. And what's funny, and I told my dad this recently, is that I wasn't planning to cover Elden Ring at all.
No.
But then when it launched, I didn't even play it on launch. But then when the hype happened, I was like, okay, let's give From Software, another gem. And I played it, and I was like, wow, and I actually was absolutely captivated it. I'm an Elden Ring lover. I'm not an Elden Ring naysayer from the Souls community. I love the game. And I had so little money, man, but I spent £60 on a used Elgato to start recording footage again. And thank God that I did, because it transformed, my life by buying that £60 Elgato. And I put up my first video, and that's where we were. But yeah, I wasn't planning to cover it. I was a bit of it's going to be open world. I can't be bothered with that.
Because if we go back just a little bit, because yeah, you're really doing great now. But looking back a little bit, you were covering all types of topics on your channel.
Right.
Some Warhammer stuff, I believe.
Warhammer, Warframe. It was back to that hobby stage,
Yeah, because it didn't do. It didn't. I don't want to talk too much shit here, but it didn't do as well as the other stuff.
No, especially the Warhammer stuff didn't do well. There was a period, obviously, I did Blasphemous. Blasphemous did okay as well on the channel, between Sekiro and Elden Ring, and then I just did Warframe stuff because I was playing Warframe a lot in essence, and I was a Warframe partner for a while. But then Elden Ring came out, and I got caught up in the hype and loved it, and I'm so glad that I played it, because it's not only did it transform my life, but it's an incredible game. So
amen. I love Elden Ring as well. I went full time, I want to say 2 months after Elden Ring was released.
Around the same time as me, right? Where after the first couple of months, you realize that, hold on, this is a popular subject and it's still sustaining.
You have a second channel.
I have.
And I think this really goes to show how important it is to acquire the skills that you have as a YouTuber, because the channel is called Smoberg.
Yeah, a very clever name.
Yeah, I
sure.
see what you did there.
Yeah.
And we have the first few videos that you did there was on Dead Space, right?
Yep.
You have 6,000 subs on that channel.
Yep.
Yet you have 90k views on the first video there. Did you do any type of promotion on the main channel for that?
I did a little bit. So I initially, when I first made the second channel and hadn't uploaded any videos, I was like, okay guys, second channel's up just to explore other topics that aren't Souls related or even lore. It's just so I don't do algorithmic damage to my main channel. If you'd like to go and subscribe to that, that'd be great. And I mean, I got about 1,000 subs. But what's funny is that YouTube then deleted the channel because they thought I was botting.
Deleted?
And yeah, they thought I was botting because there's no videos on it, and all of a sudden this channel had 1,000 subs. So I had to obviously like appeal that, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I've got a channel and I've just directed people to it, and they reinstated it. But I thought it was funny that initially, because I directed people there and there was no content on it, they deleted the channel. But anyway, yeah, I did a little bit of promotion. But you know, it's also you do learn certain skills on what algorithmically will do okay and stuff, right? You know how to do thumbnails, you know how to make an interesting title without necessarily being clickbaity. So you see, if you look further up, then I did, you know, I capitalized on Diablo 4 as well.
Yeah.
Later on in that channel, and they did pretty well. So yeah, it's just somewhere for me to do subjects that I'm interested in that aren't Elden Ring, and it's kind of back to being my hobby channel, which is nice to keep the, you know, the passion alive. Because sometimes, you know, the main channel, not that I don't love doing it, it's obviously amazing, but it is now a job, SmoughtTown, to keep that channel going.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a secondary passion channel, essentially.
I also would like to mention that whenever you say algorithmic, I like to say that it's never the algorithm, it's the people. You make content for the people.
Right. Yeah.
The algorithm just serve it up. And the fact that you managed to get like so many views on those other channels, it just or those other videos just shows that it isn't necessarily about your sub count, it's about your skill.
It's about, it's everything coming together. You know, it's thumbnail, title, trending topics, things like that. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's I wouldn't have been able to do that had I just been new to the game. For example, like my Dead Space lore videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really happy with the second channel so far. It's been a nice change of pace.
If you had to give somebody some advice if they wanted to like start a new YouTube channel, what do you think that would be?
It's not different from what you said hugely. Just it has to be, you have to want to do the topic you're talking about, something you're passionate about, and that passion will always translate, I think, into a good video. But also, you just have to start.
Yeah.
You can spend forever planning and watching tutorials about YouTube and how to make good videos and editing, but you just have to go there and put yourself out there and start doing it, start learning. You know, people in comments are sometimes cruel, but sometimes they're helpful. Like sometimes they'll say maybe this was too long, or you're a little bit repetitive, or just learning over time what makes good videos and what people like. But you have to do it. You know, you just have to do it and learn as you go. My journey is slow, and I'm sure other people will be better at learning these things now. I was a very slow learner, but I did learn by putting myself out there. I'm not a technically gifted person, but I can now edit to a decent degree and things like that, and do good videos. But that's it. You just have to do it. You know, I know that so many people want to do it, but they just don't go through with it because they're waiting for the right moment or for when they're ready. But just do it, man. You know, and if people don't like it and they comment bad things on it, then just take that as a learning experience and move on to the next one. That's it. That would be my main advice.
if you're afraid that your first video is going to be shit, you're absolutely right. But that's okay, you know?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's okay. You just gotta put their first video out there. Once it's out, you know, reflect on it. What do you think you did good? What did you think you did bad? And then keep the good things, cut out the bad things. You know, rinse, repeat. That's basically how it goes.
Yeah, and there's so many facets to making a YouTube video, and you have to learn it by just doing it. You know, editing, recording, writing, recording all the footage, doing the thumbnails, doing the SEO, promoting yourself on external sites, though I don't think that does a huge amount, to be honest, but just all these kind of little things. So yeah, you just have to get on with it. I think that's the best way to learn, as it is with everything. It's just to do it. Yeah. You know, neither me nor you were overnight successes, right? You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
We're not like these people that have had meteoric rises through whatever reasons. We just did it, and we've done it for a long time, to the point where we're pretty competent now, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of people who look at YouTubers that just suddenly got 1 million views or went from no views to a lot of views, they think that, okay, it's only luck or
there's a formula.
Yeah. The thing is, luck is basically a combination of opportunity and how prepared you are, and eventually you will succeed. You don't see the huge amount of work that goes beyond, and a person can slave for like years before the one thing kind of boosts them up, and since they have been slaving away for years, they do have the skills to sustain it going forward.
Right. Yeah. And that's absolutely right. Luck is just continuing to do something until something hatches, you know, the sail gets caught by the wind. Like, you know, I was lucky with that first Elden Ring video. The timing, the content.
What was the first Elden Ring video again? What was the topic?
So it was the God Skin, God Hunt, and Destined Death. And I did it quite a bit after the release, you know. It's not like I rushed that video out or anything. Let me see. It was March 17, so a good, you know, 18, 20 days or something after it came out, you know. So it's just about doing stuff, and then eventually it'll catch. You're right, luck is just doing something at the right time. But you have to do something for it to happen.
No matter in what situation you are, the only thing that stays true is if you do nothing, nothing will happen.
Sometimes you put a video out and it gets crushed by the algorithm, and that's just unfortunate.
It is what it is.
Happens to us all. But then sometimes you put it out and it shockingly gets lifted up, and you don't really know why, but happy days. For example, my second channel, I just put up a random Armored Core PvP video, and it's doing pretty well. I don't know why, but you know, I put it out there, and it's done all right. You know.
All right, let's take a look at that.
It's a no commentary one as well. I just, you know, put up some of my early PvP matches, and yeah, it's done all right.
Let's see. Oh yeah, so you have a 30K video. Whoa. Yeah. That is surprising, given that it's your second channel, and it's just 3v3 matches. That's pretty sweet. No commentary as well.
Yeah. So you don't know why it does well. It just, you know, it does well. And you just keep putting stuff out there, and some will take and some won't. Obviously, it has to be good for people to like it, and then it continually gets momentum, right? You know, I'm not saying it's 100% luck, but it's also just about doing things and putting yourself out there, for sure.
So with my Lost channel, my second channel, that eventually became the thing that
your main
that is my main channel now, right? I just uploaded first a ton of Dark Souls videos, and they were doing like fine. They had like 1,000 views each, because I managed to push a lot of my main channel people over to that one.
Yeah.
But once Elden Ring came out, I just tried to do all of the fun stuff. I was experimenting again, like properly. The first real video that did well was the most hilarious item in Elden Ring, and that's the physic that makes you blow up.
Yeah, your Lost channel is a very, I'd say, is a fun channel, right?
Yeah.
You can tell that you're having fun doing it. Your intros and everything like that. You can obviously tell that you're having a lot of fun like on that channel. And what point did you realize that it was like your main channel? Your main channel?
Well, when it started making enough money for me to live off of it, it was strange, man, because before Elden Ring came out, I was struggling a bit because I felt like I was creatively burned out. I started my first channel, Lost My Sanity, by doing trolling content, basically killing people in fun ways of making small edits around it. And then it came to a point where I didn't quite know what to do next because I've basically done everything and I didn't want to repeat myself. I could have, but the well ran dry. So I did a bunch of other stuff. Some worked, some didn't, but I never really found
what you were after, or what you felt comfortable with.
Yeah, at least not something that I was able to sustain a YouTube channel on. And so I started streaming more, and I did that, and I got super fucking lucky because I caught the eye of a bipolar Canadian crypto millionaire who donated $26,000 to me.
What?
Over this.
When was that? What the hell?
It was.
I've never heard that story.
Well, no, okay. Well, it was October. I think it was the end of October, year before Elden Ring, or maybe the start of October. The timeline isn't super important, but basically, I was playing, something, and then I got raided by Prod, and when Prod raided me, there was this guy in there who first donated to me like $1,000, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Oh my god.
And then he did it again. And again.
And 26 times.
Well, he did it 9 times that first stream, so it was $9,000 in that one stream, and then there was a bunch of subs he donated, and he gave more money the following weeks, and he also gave me 2 Ethereum.
Wow.
And I don't know if you're all that into
crypto.
I
that's a lot. I know.
At that point, it was worth, I believe, 1 Ethereum was like $3,000 at that point, or $4,000.
I can't believe that happened. I've never heard of anything like that in my life. That's incredible loss.
That was intense. And, it wasn't just me. The guy I rated afterwards, he got 10k as well.
What a generous fella.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That must have been really uplifting for you at that time.
Oh yeah.
That's a good few months cheddar there.
Yeah, that money is what told me, okay, when Elden Ring comes around, I have an opportunity that very few people get. I will hunker down, do my thing, and see if I can't make it work. And I did a bunch of different things. What really worked for me was a series of short videos I did on the L2 attacks of certain weapons.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And that was great. It took a long time, and they didn't, even though it got like hundreds of thousands of views, they didn't pay off all that much.
Well, just because like they were short. Well, the income for them, because they were really short. Yeah.
They were really short.
Of course. Yeah.
A 3-minute video.
It generates very little. Yeah.
Yeah. If I could choose between like a 3-minute video with 600,000 views or a 20-minute video with like 100,000 views, I'd take the 20-minute video.
Easily. Easily. Yeah.
And that's also something that I think allows you to do what you do, because
right, exactly.
1 hour long videos is going to make a lot more than shorter videos. So that gives you a little extra time and motivation to make the longer videos.
Exactly. I couldn't do them otherwise. If I was not earning, a commensurate amount for doing an hour and a half long video, I just simply couldn't do them. But because essentially, if I do 2 a month, it sustains my income. It's personally reasonable. But yeah,
that is interesting though. So sorry for cutting you off, but the length of videos on YouTube, I've seen more and more channels making like super long content, and 2 hours is absolutely nothing to sneeze at. but I've seen like 7 hour
Right.
long
They will
videos.
earn unforeseen amounts of money.
Yeah.
If you're talking about, you know, a few 100,000 on a 7-hour video, that's a lot of money. That's a couple of months worth of money. I'm saying.
It's an
I'm guessing.
interesting switch just from an audience perspective as well, because we keep talking about how, well, we're the generation who's losing all of these attention spans with the TikToks and the YouTube Shorts, and then I find myself watching like a 3-hour video on No More Heroes. That's the game I was watching, and I absolutely love them.
Yeah. Well, I watch really long videos as well, but it's mainly when I'm doing, I do Warhammer hobby, or, you know, if I'm working on a video, I like having a long video on to just kind of absorb. I don't necessarily sit, you know, attention up looking straight at a video for 5 hours or whatever, but I like having them on when I'm working. I don't know how you work, but I don't work in silence or with music. I like having someone chattering away on my right-hand monitor or something
Yeah,
while I'm doing
absolutely.
work. So I always have these long videos on. So you know, they do have an audience, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that put them on when they're going to bed, or, you know, like a lot of people say to me they like having my playlist on when they're going to sleep and things like that, which is, you know, great. I like that. But yeah, you're right. We do. There is definitely a demand for long videos, but also from a YouTube perspective, it is. I don't want to say the term meta, but it is a good technique for getting views and money, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I can just see at the corner of my eye that Asmund Gold has uploaded his full Armored Core 6 playthrough, which is 18 hours. That's that's gonna be money. You know, that will be money.
It is going to be
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
I think psychologically, if you look at a video and it is like long, and especially if it's like something that you make, like I don't want to say commentary video, but you are going through.
We'll just essentially say it's commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then people are going to assume that you have something interesting to say, because anybody who can talk about something for like 2 hours straight.
You think they have something insightful to say.
Yeah, even if it's not like continuously.
Even if it's not true. Even if that's not true. I'd like to think that I have, but for me, you know, it never, you know, not like to be like, that's my way of seeing it now because I know how it works. But when I started doing long videos, it wasn't actually because of that. I just started doing them because that's just how long the scripts ended up being.
Yeah.
And I kind of went into really OCD detail about each subject. And if I was missing a tiny bit of lore, say on the subject of Moog, I'd feel like the video was incomplete. So it's just unfortunately the way my brain works. And honestly, man, so sometimes I really wish I did do shorter videos, because it is just, I get really burnt out quite a lot, in all honesty. But yeah, there's obviously a benefit to having longer videos. There absolutely is.
Then Armored Core must be a nice little refreshment for you.
Yeah, it's a nice one. I'm definitely working on like a long video explaining all the lore and story. You know, I'm not expecting there to be as much interest, obviously, as Elden Ring.
No.
Elden Ring Goes Goliath had a far more complex story. Armored Core is a little bit more niche. The story has some little details, but isn't as complex. But you know, I just do what I feel like doing.
I'd watch a video about that, because I just yesterday I finished Armored Core, right? And as far as I'm concerned, I kind of skipped over a lot of the story stuff because I just wanted to shoot robots.
Yeah, which is definitely what a lot of people will be doing for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and especially since there's not any, there's no big cutscenes here. All of the story is basically being told to you through
the recordings or communications and stuff, right?
Yeah, there are a few different.
There are some notes. This is the thing I enjoyed. I had the game early access, and I spent a lot of time. There was no guide or anything at the time that I did it, and I couldn't even see the achievements in the game, so I didn't know how many endings there were. I played the game 4 times before the game released, and that was because I was trying to find another ending, but unfortunately there isn't one, so I feel like an idiot for playing it that 4th time. But I spent a lot of time trying to find all the little lore notes and stuff, and there are some really interesting like little kernels of lore found hidden throughout the world. But you can get the broad strokes of what's going on without any of that detail, for sure.
Let me try to give you the broad strokes, because quite frankly, I'm not sure I got it. But here's what I figured.
Right.
So there was this huge explosion of an energy source at Rubicon that burnt the stars. Now, most people died in that explosion. There's huge cities around with absolutely nobody in it. And at first, now you have these corporations trying to fight for that energy source. Eventually, you get kind of caught in an explosion of this energy source, and then you have this lady in your brain talking to you, and then you realize that the energy source kind of absorbed the people, and now it's in a very dangerous spot because that energy source might just turn into a space cloud and then try to absorb more people, and you have to either burn it and kind of sort of committing genocide, or become part of the space cloud. Did I say that right?
Yeah, no, it's so you're actually not far off. There's some details here and there that I'll not like spoil my entire video for you. But the first thing is that the original people studying the coral were actually the ones who detonated the explosion because they were concerned about some of them were concerned about the rapid growth of the substance. So the fires of Ibis were caused by men. They actually detonated it to kill off all the coral because they were concerned about it. And yeah, essentially the endings are either you choose to completely eradicate it because you're afraid of what it means, or you become one with the coral to advance humanity to another level, in essence. Yeah.
So I burnt it, but hear me out. I didn't commit genocide, right, because I was afraid. I committed genocide because the mission paid more.
It does. It's quite a lot more, isn't it? It's like 500,000 or something for that one.
Yeah, it's 500,000 versus 80,000. Yeah. I was like, okay.
It's that. You know what I really liked about Armored Core is I found that decision, that one between the two endings, really difficult. Because I knew that I wanted to side with the Coral, but she wanted me to kill Carla.
Yeah.
And I really like Carla. But it's like, it's a bitter pill. You have to, it's very Armored Core. You have to just turn on these people and just kill them. You know, it's pretty brutal. But I do like the siding with Coral ending, I think. It's a little bit more hopeful after that point, after you murder Carla. And then, yeah. But you'll see it whenever you get it. What were your thoughts on Armored Core in general? Like, did you like it?
So, it's interesting. I'm not a big mech guy. I enjoy my games with a more
with swords.
More of a fantasy twist.
I do as well, man. Yeah.
But that being said, the combat was a very new experience. The fact that you had to switch out your weapons to kind of figure out what would be the best way of dealing with.
It's a great experience, isn't it?
It's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I like it. And do you think, what are you gonna? I'm not saying for your channel necessarily, but do you think you will dip your toes in the PvP and stuff just to have a go and play around with it a bit?
Here's the thing. I'm currently undefeated in Armored Core PvP.
Right, because you did a match and you won and you don't want to...
Kinda.
I
have friends who wants me to play, but I'm like, I don't want to ruin my winning streak of one match.
Are you on PC doing it?
Yes, I'm on PC. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I need to get it on PC because you and Cowboy are on PC, and I'd like to, play some PvP with you guys. But it's not cross-platform, sadly. So. Well,
if you do that, I am more than willing to sacrifice my winning streak for you.
But you're not going to.
No.
If I'm there, I'm gonna carry us to victory, man. I'm ace at the Armored Core PvP. I found my calling. But you thought it was an overall good experience, Armored Core, not your usual game, but you enjoyed it for what it was. Type thing.
I did. I think that I hate to say this, but I kind of agree with IGN here, where it's a solid 8 out of 10
I
for
think that's
all of
a
this.
totally fair score. I think
Yeah.
that's a totally fair score. There, I actually think for what it is, for me, it's a 10 out of 10. I recently have become a really big Armored Core fan.
Ooh.
I went through and played a lot of them prior to launch, and I really like them, especially Armored Core 4 Answer. I love that game. So I think for what it is, maybe it's a 9 out of 10 for a 10 out of 10. It is my favorite game of all time. No Dark Souls / Elden Ring. Probably still take that. But I think it's a really solid game. That's probably my top 10 games. I really like it.
Well, holy shit. That is...
Yeah.
That is...
Yeah, I'm a mecha convert, for sure.
I did also, I have to say, I loved running through the game with my pink mech. I'm
picture of that.
Yeah, I'm completely pink. My favorite build in the game was the Wheelchair of Doom.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Where you get not the threads, but the
wheelies.
The wheelies, and you get like 2 miniguns. And I also used, on my shoulders, I used 2 of the weapons that are supposed to take down the
stun one. The stun thing.
Yeah, I think it's a stun thing. It was used in the mission where you have to take down the not the lizard, the worm. Yeah.
Yeah, the worm. Yeah, those are really good. The stun guns. They do tons of stagger damage, right?
Yeah, they do tons of stagger damage, and they do tons of just normal damage as well. So generally, when I get somebody staggered, and if you run all the way up in their face with the miniguns and just blast off, you take half of their health.
Mate, it's so similar to what I just intuitively worked out when I was playing it. Early access again, there's no one to compare it to. I got stuck on the Enforcer. He was the first one that was really difficult for me. So he's in Act 4, Depth 2, the big robot that the PC have left to guard the lower depths, right? I was stuck in him, and then my build eventually became a tank with 2 dual guns and 2 grenade launchers, and I would just fly right into his face, fire both the grenade launchers at once, stagger him, and just minigun him from about an inch away from him, and it just annihilated him. That is the meta, just dual gunning things in their face.
Did you struggle with any of the bosses? Did you really struggle?
Definitely. With the enforcement system one, that guy, the enforcement robot, and the Ibis series at the end of Act 4. The really fast one, the super fast one that's just flying all over the screen.
Oh,
that was so tough. When it got into phase 2, I would get into phase 2, and it would just do a Malekith flying around, a good 2 hours on him. The Ibis series.
I was so happy when I downed that guy my very first time because I had no health.
I was like, that was easy, and then he resurrected it to phase 2. I was like, what? Phase 2? But not to spoil it for you, but there's actually a 3-phase boss in Armored Core, and it's solid. It is solid, yeah.
All right, yeah, because I've only beaten... Because, as I said, I wasn't thinking I would be playing it much more, but every now and then I have been pulling out and just playing a mission or 2, which is something I really appreciate.
For that.
Yeah,
it's a good arcade game. I've beaten everything apart from getting S tier on all the missions, right?
Yeah.
So now and again, I just jump on for an hour and a half, grind out some S tier missions, move on. It's great for that. One of the questions I was interested in, though, that you kind of sent me before this is what would you say was your lowest point?
Yeah.
And then your highest point. What would you say is yours? And I'll tell you mine.
Okay, that's a really good question. My lowest point was before I got all the money that I told you about, when I was creatively burned out. Yeah. I made some videos, I spent a lot of time on them, and they didn't get the views that I, quote unquote, thought they deserved.
Expected, yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking, hey, do people not like me anymore? Are my videos bad? I went through all of those different questions and the mindset because at my best month on the other channel, I made $800, and that was huge for me, man. That was huge. And then money kind of went down, and then it went a little bit up but down again, and So I started the other channel because I felt like I
It frees
yeah,
those
I need something. I need to
expectation. Yeah.
free from expectations, free from pressure, and I just uploaded on that channel, which
Oh man,
eventually got me
I
to back to
I,
loving it again.
I feel you, bro. But it frees you, doesn't it?
Mm,
From you're not expecting anything at that point. You're just doing it for the sheer love of doing the videos, right? And that's when you
exactly.
do well. That's when you do well, as well.
And it helped me out in more ways than one because I this time when I actually became successful, I paid attention to my viewers' behavior and started analyzing everything, and I came to understand that, well, if you're doing YouTube as a job, right, you have to understand that your viewers are not necessarily fans, they are customers, and if they subscribe to you for one thing and you serve them something different,
They're
they
going
are
to go
not.
to another restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Because they go to you because they're expecting one thing. And I was trying a ton of different things on my other YouTube channel. And I think that content that I did try to make was actually really good, but it didn't work out simply because I hadn't built my reputation on that. If I had stuck to it, I think I could have just powered through and eventually, switched up my content. But because I was so wishy-washy with whatever I wanted to do, that kind of sent me in a spiral, and I eventually crashed. Thought, okay, fresh start, new channel, let's go.
Yeah, that's then that obviously changed your mindset. And would you say your high point then was just when that new channel was lifting off? Then, basically,
My high point was basically when I got 50,000 subs on the
new channel,
new
and you
channel.
realized this is it. You've built a new one.
I don't know
basically.
if you experienced this insane growth, but I made a video that went viral, and it gained me 8,000 subs in a day.
Damn, I don't think I've ever experienced that type of like really meteoric growth. But yeah, obviously some of my videos have done well and got some good recognition. So I definitely get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
But it is a nice feeling when you get recognition for sure. My I've had so many high points. The thing is I'm really grateful for my career and the people that support me. So the high points there's a lot. When I first did that first Elden Ring video and it did well, because actually when I first launched the Elden Ring video, it was actually doing really poorly. I had like under 10,000 views, and then all of a sudden, a few days, it was up at several 100,000. It's at 1 million now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get delayed victories. I don't know if you've ever had that. You upload it, it does kind of mints for the first few days, which is when it usually does well, and then after a while, it's like a sleeper hit somehow. So that was nice. I think it was nice when my second video also repeated that success. I was like, okay, I'm on to something.
Yeah.
Here. That was nice.
Because once can be a fluke. 2 times,
Exactly.
now you're seeing a pattern.
Because I remember I was out and I was at a shisha bar when when my second Elden Ring lore video went out, and I was like, oh my god, this one's doing well as well. Because I was looking at my analytics on my phone. And that was a nice feeling. Going full time, not long after that, was another great feeling. Doing my timeline video for my 100,000, that was a special video I did, worked with a lore hunter and tarnished archaeologist, and that I thought that was quite a nice high point. Doing that video with you guys in Amazing Chest, I really enjoyed that. I like interacting with the community and stuff. So there's been a lot of high points. Like I'm I've got a positive view of how things have gone recently. I certainly wouldn't be negative about what's happened. The low point actually is recently, because that I did an Armored Core review and it didn't do well, but that's just what you just said about serving up things that aren't expected, right?
So
I did the
Armored Core on your main channel. Are you talking about
yes. That? Yeah, it's like a review. It's not done as well as my other videos, but it's what happens. I do lore videos. I can't expect people to come to me for reviews, right? And also a lot of people uploaded a review the same day because there's a lot of early access, So it is what it is. And I I've moved on from it now, but the day it happened, I was a little bit, down. So that was, like I say, I don't have a lot of low points. I'm not going to complain, but that was most recently my low point.
I get why that video potentially didn't get a lot of views. It's kind of funny to compare this to Armored Core streams because your first idea of a new game is that, okay, new game, gonna be massive hype, gonna get all the views when I stream it, and you stream it and you have lower views than normal, and that's like before you learn that, okay, you have the big boys that are doing this.
Exactly. And
they are taking the audience.
It's a combination of that, and also it's just not as big a game as Elden Ring. So I'm sharing the audience with the big boys, and also there's less views to go around with the big boys. So that's what happened. So it's fine. I've got over it, and I'll move on from it and go back to doing my lore and stuff. But it is what it is. Low points are just when videos don't do well, right?
Yeah.
You feel like you put a lot of work into it and just doesn't pay off, but you can't let it keep you down for that long. I've had more high points than low points, definitely. But yes, that's probably my most recent low point.
There are plenty of benefits to doing YouTube. I can work from home. I decide my own hours.
You don't answer to anyone.
Yeah. God, I don't have a fucking boss.
That's the reason I like it the most. Is I hated answering to people.
Yeah.
I hated it. So not answering to anyone is the massive benefit. But the downside is you work your bollocks off. You do. I work pretty much. My body is basically abused because I just sit in a chair all day.
It's an interesting paradox because YouTube is the easiest job I've ever had, but I've worked harder on this than anything else.
That is definitely the way to put it. It's easier because you don't answer to anyone. You work your own hours. You're in control of everything, and for the most part, it pays off well, and you get a bit of job satisfaction that you don't get anywhere else.
Thank you so much for listening to us. Me and SmoughtTown, we actually talked for a lot longer than this, but those topics are perfect for standalone videos, so I will leave it here. If you actually got to the end, and if you're listening to my voice right now, type giraffe in the comments. I will know what it means, and you get extra love. Have a good one, everybody.